we have just started our study of dividing fractions, all right? So I'm gonna look at the standard really fast, and some parts that come out of this are that you guys have to compute quotients of fractions and solve word problems involving division of fractions by fractions using visual models. And then of course we'll move to the algorithm too, the equation. So on your desks, you guys have a packet of plain white paper. Everybody find that. Okay? You can take the paper clip off. Each one of the pages has a number on it, 1 through 5. Those are going to correspond to the word problem that you're going to get in the middle of your group as we go around. You're going to answer the word problem as a group, and you guys are going to use any tools that you want. All the math tools are up here. I'm not going to tell you what you need to grab. A lot of you have already grabbed some paper. You have your math notes. You have your textbooks. You have all sorts of stuff that you can use. Okay? So I want to see you using your tools and deciding what you need to use to solve these problems. Now, we are doing division of fractions, but I threw something in. I threw in 2 multiplication word problems. Why, when we're doing word problems for division, as it says up there, did I throw in some multiplication problems? Anybody want to guess? No one wants to guess? Abby.
Because that's the opposite of division.
Okay, it's the opposite. What else?
Sometimes you don't know when you just read it whether it's multiplication or division.
Okay, when you read a word problem, is it sometimes difficult, especially with fractions, to tell, am I supposed to divide on this problem or multiply? Mm-hmm. Is that difficult?
Yes.
Okay, I have difficulty with it. So I threw in 2 multiplication problems at 2 of the groups. The other 3 groups have division. You're going to get all 5 in the course of this lesson, okay? And we'll pass it around. Really quickly, I want us to look at the math practices that you guys we've gone over since the beginning of the year. We have them hanging on the wall. I put them up here so they're a little bigger. So I'm going to go through them. I want you guys to give me a thumbs up if you think this is a math practice that we're going to use a lot for this kind of discussion-based math work, or a thumbs down if you think this isn't something we're going to use. Okay? Ready? So make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. What do we think? I see everybody with a thumbs up. Who wants to talk about that one? Why is this important? Mason?
It's important because if we're not making sense of our problems, we'll be like, I think that's 7. Well, why is that 7? Because that's my favorite number. That's not.
Okay.
That's not like any answer that you would put because you're not making any sense.
Making sense of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this word persevere too. That's something I have to do with this. When we're making models of fraction division problems, that's not something I did when I was a kid. I was told, do the algorithm, get the answer, let's move on. So I am relearning how to do my math with you guys by doing this. So I have to persevere. I have to keep going and push through sometimes. Okay, number 2, reason abstractly and quantitatively. Yes or no? Okay, may not be something that we're gonna do too much, okay? I see a lot of thumbs down, and I see a sideways, okay. We'll move on then. Number 3, construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. I'm gonna stop you right now because I haven't told you this part. At the very end, we're gonna do a gallery walk where you're gonna walk around and look at how everybody answered the different problems. There's gonna be sticky notes, and you're gonna put a sticky note with constructive criticism, questions, anything that you can think of. Oh, you answered this differently than I did, but I like the way you did it. All of that stuff, you're gonna put them on the groups. And then the groups are gonna be able to come back and look at that. Tomorrow, we're actually gonna look at the actual answers. Today, we're just gonna work on the process, okay? So this is a definite thumbs up. Model. I think that's what we're doing today, right? Okay, modeling with math. Using appropriate tools. That's kind of, yes, there it is, okay. Attend to precision. Do we always do that one?
Yeah.
Is that my absolute favorite one? Yes, that's my favorite one. Look for and make use of structure. Okay, I see some different answers. This might be something that we're looking at, maybe not as much. And the last one, look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. So using that repeated reasoning. See a lot of no's. Okay, so I'd say we're using at least half or more of the math practices. And as we go through, we could realize that we're using all of them. Okay? All right, in the middle of your groups, everybody has a paper with their question on it. Go ahead and turn those over right now. You're going to have about 5 to 7 minutes per question. You should use all of your math tools to answer. What is the first thing you think you have to decide before you actually start writing anything down? What is something that you're going to have to decide? Jocelyn.
If it's multiplication or division.
Right, I've given you a hint ahead of time, right? There's 2 that are multiplication and 3 that are division. So decide as a group. Everybody should be working, that's an expectation. Your final answer will go on the white piece of paper in the middle of your group that has the matching number. I also did matching colors just because, okay? So if you have a 1, you should write your final answer on 1. And then I'm going to collect your final answers, and then we'll move on and we'll switch. Questions? Okay, if you think of something, send your team captain up. If I'm at another group, I'm going to be walking around. Go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Half its weight in insects in one night. If a bat weighing 3/4 pounds eats half its weight in insects, how much do the insects weigh?
Okay, so multiplication. Because you can't do
So wouldn't it be like
I think it would be 3/4 times 1/5, or 1/4, or 1/2. Yeah.
Because it could eat half of its weight.
So then you multiply.
So if it's weighing 3/4 pounds, maybe it's actually I think it's division.
Brady, why don't you explain why you think it's multiplication, and you can just talk about why it's division.
I think it's multiplication because if, say a bat weighs 3/4 of a pound and you're trying to find half of its weight, so you're like dividing it with fractions, it's like multiplying because you do like the opposite with.
Okay?
Well, I just thought it was division because you're trying to find like how much insects is in the bat's weight if he eats half of it.
And because it's like weight and like ounces and stuff, so like what we already did before, we have to divide to get ounces.
Okay, let's just divide and see what we get.
Okay, good idea. Try doing both ways and see what works.
Yeah. And then divide it by 8, right?
So what have you guys decided?
That is
That's
division
division, probably.
because you're separating it into certain parts.
Okay, so dividing fractions means you're separating things. Good. Okay, good.
Okay. So
3/4.
so we would draw 1, 2,
3/4 divided by 1/8.
The group over here just said something about when you are dividing, you're putting it in parts, okay? So when we look at number 2, a bat can eat half its weight in insects in one night. So we're taking its weight, and what are we doing? Okay, but that's using the algorithm. Let's think about the model.
This is the model.
Okay, so what did you do? Multiply or divide?
no, I multiplied.
Did you multiply? Think about it. Think about this one's not easy, okay? The way this one's worded is difficult, so think about it. Okay?
But you put division here, so
I think it's multiplication because he keeps trying to get
You don't have to on this one.
Okay, should we check with the algorithm?
yeah, yes.
2/3 times.
So what did you guys decide, multiplication or division?
Multiplication.
Multiplication on this one? So what answer did you get?
We got 4/6.
How many?
I got 2/6 without it.
Okay, so let's think about the math practices. One of them is you have to kind of ask yourself, does this make sense, right? Okay, so if a recipe for 1 loaf of bread requires 2/3 of a cup of oil, so I have my 2/3 of a cup. You have 2 cups of oil in the bottle. How many loaves of bread can you make? Am I multiplying, just a second, hon. Am I multiplying that bottle times the 2/3, or am I taking that bottle and dividing it into 2/3
Dividing it
pieces?
because you need 2/3 to go into.
And let's think for a second. Your answer. Think about your answer. What did you guys get as an answer? 2, 6.
4, 6. But then
4,
I did
6.
the algorithm and it equals 2, 6.
Okay. Okay. So if you get something that's a fraction, does that make sense? You're going to make a fraction of loaves of bread. What do you think you're going to get as an answer? A whole number. Okay. So that's something that you need to think about. So instead of multiplying, try dividing and see what you get. Okay. Sometimes you have to do both. Yes.
Okay, so we do
At the very end. No, you're going to put your
we
final
need to do,
answer on your piece of paper. I'll come over to your group.
squares.
Nope.
Yeah, because there's 2. And then fill them both in.
No, you put your final answer on your piece of paper with the same number.
I wasn't sure. I just
Okay.
So some of those.
Comments.
You
all
wanted
right.
some of these?
Wait, do we
That's why I'm
have
here.
to do this?
Units.
Units?
You should. What would the units be on this?
Hour. No. What? Yeah.
Of an hour, right? Because it says a fraction
so-
of an hour.
So put 3/20ths of an hour.
Okay.
Those are quick.
Let's model it out.
And then like. And
Yeah,
then draw
make the model.
things.
What are you guys doing?
So here, let's do it with this. How, like so.
Let's have these ones be the ones that weren't
Multiplying or
recorded.
dividing?
Okay. Okay.
Dividing. Okay.
And these are the full ones. Like, these are the whole ones. No, we don't have all whole ones.
Colors right now.
Oh, wait, no, I see what you're doing.
I don't think that's.
So here's a question that I asked the other group because they have one about loaves of bread. How many loaves of bread could you make? You have a similar question. How many burritos can you make? Do you think before you even solve it, would you come up with a fraction as an answer or a whole number?
Whole number because on our homework last night we came up with a whole number for division. Yeah.
Okay, so you think a whole number. And would a whole number make sense answering the question? Yeah. Right? How many burritos can you make? 2/3 of a burrito? That would be kind of silly, right?
Yeah. We're using number 8 because we're finding because I found the pattern in our homework.
You did what?
Because we're using number 8 because I found the pattern in our homework.
Oh, you're using number 8. Good. Good. Yes. Okay, keep going. Sorry, I interrupted. How are we doing, guys? Multiplication or division?
Division.
Why?
Because you're trying
All together.
you're taking 4.5 and you're trying to put it into separate little groups of where the making it into
Okay, so you're taking sections of the hiking trail, right? Okay, good. And you guys are already putting it on your final answer, all right? Okay, I'm going to tell you have about 2 minutes to finish this first task. Make sure that you put your final answer on your paper.
Yes, 3.
Do you guys have your final answer paper? You're done?
Okay, well, so yeah, it's 3/8 because even when you do the algorithm,
Another circle, and then you count those up, and that's 4.
Yeah, I agree with 3 because it wouldn't make sense if 2/3 times 6 would go into 2 cups. So that doesn't really work.
Okay.
I think it's 4 because you have to circle these. And you circle 2 because it says 2 on the top of 2/3.
You guys decide, put it on your paper.
Okay, we could do the algorithm to double check.
Is it 3? All right, let's do the algorithm,
Yes.
guys.
of the other half.
Show our work on here what we did.
Show, yep. Okay. Your
I
model.
still keep getting the same answer if you do the algorithm.
Half of the.
Okay, I can take your final answer, but not your words. Not your word problem. Thank you much. Who else is done with their final answer?
Oh,
No one?
Wait.
Jax, are you guys done
No.
with this? Your final answer? No. Okay.
We're still confused. I think 3 would work.
About 30 seconds to get it written
3 would
down.
work. Hang on, I have an idea. Yeah, 3 works. 2/3.
Got an idea.
And then 2. We did the algorithm. I did the algorithm to check our work.
Okay, but we want models.
I think it's 25.
Yeah. You think it's 25? How can you show that with the model though?
You just count like the squares that are coded.
Okay. Okay, so place that on your final answer. You guys done with this?
Tell by even just like look.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Drum, do you want the question?
Nope.
No?
Hang on.
Oh.
Give it to the team
Oh,
captain.
yeah. Yeah, they're coming to our group. All right.
Okay. You guys finished? All right. I need the team captain to hold up their sheet of paper so that I can come by and grab it. The answer sheet. Please. Okay. Thank you for remembering. Got it. You done? Thank you. Got it? Okay. Team captains, please deliver your question to the next group. So group 1, deliver to group 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, etc. 5, bring it back up here to 1. And get started on your next question, please.
So number 1.
Alexander says for 3.5 degrees over 4 hours.
Just need to wait.
For 1.5 times 1 fraction of an hour that he spent in the week.
Yes.
So Alex exercised for 3/4 of an hour and lifted weights for 1/5 of that time. What fraction of an hour did he spend lifting weights?
No, it would be 1/5 of 3/4.
Multiplying or dividing?
Multiplying.
But it can also be divided.
I know, but you're trying to find like the total time, so you do 1/5.
What do you guys think?
You're separating the minus in half.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like using the graph paper, Luke? Yeah.
I like using the color pencils. Because then it just makes it easier to see. Like,
Okay, so
It does. You're right.
okay, so it's cut it into thirds.
so then it's.
So like 6 over how much?
Wait, wouldn't it be 4 out of 3? Because it's split up into thirds.
Oh, wait, I split it into thirds the
it'd
wrong
be
way.
6 over 3.
Okay, do you think it helps to first write down the problem the way you want to solve it?
Yeah, that's
So what did you write?
2/3 of 2, or 2/3 multiplied by 2.
Okay, so let's think of this, okay? You have a loaf of bread. A recipe for 1 loaf is 2/3 of a cup of oil. So I'm going to pretend I have my 2/3 of a cup of oil right here. Okay. How many loaves can you make with 2 cups? So my bottle of oil has 2 cups in it. So what am I going to do with that 2 cups of oil?
I think you're gonna divide.
What are you going to do?
Divide.
I'm going to pour this 2 cups, 2/3 of a cup at a time into each recipe, right?
Yeah.
And I need to know how many loaves of bread I'm going to make with that.
So you need to divide. So it
We're
would
doing
be.
the wrong problem.
Yeah. It would be.
See, sometimes you have to act it out. I always have to talk to myself.
It would be.
Which problem do you guys have? The burritos. Are you multiplying or dividing?
Divided by 2, right?
You're doing both.
We're gonna try. And we're just gonna see which
Makes more sense.
Which one makes sense? Okay, I like that. So are some of you multiplying and some of you dividing?
Allie and I are dividing.
And multiplying doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because
I got 6/8, and then that reduces down to 3/4.
Do you want to know?
So why does 3/4 not make sense?
Because you start off with 3/4 of salsa, so you have to get. So it's division.
What is the question?
How many burritos can you make?
Are you going to
It'll be
make?
a whole number.
Yeah, so it'd
So
be a
you
whole
think
number.
you would get a whole number
I
as an
got
answer?
3,
Okay.
so it'd be division.
So you
No,
okay.
Jack's got 3 in multiplication.
What did you do?
Dividing.
I don't think so.
What? And I don't know if I did the dividing.
I think you did it wrong.
correctly.
What did you get?
Hold 1/8, but that one makes sense because we have 1/8 right.
Oh no, it's 3. Yeah, it's 3.
What did I do?
Okay, so I like how you guys are doing both so that you can see which one makes sense. Until we get used to this and knowing which question requires multiplication or division, that's why I threw some multiplication in here. Because it's confusing, isn't it? I have to think about it too. Okay, good. I like that you guys know that you need a whole number for this answer. Because we're not going to have 3/4 of a burrito or anything, are we?
Probably not.
I hope not. That'd be yucky.
Oh wait, hang on.
That'd be sad.
I think it might be multiplication. Because I looked back on it and I did get 3.
And what did you do?
Yeah,
Multiply. Okay.
Yeah, I got 3.
And of is multiplication. Okay, good. So you made it into an of problem first. I like it. Like it. So if you think you have the answer, go ahead and put it on your number 2, and you're already doing that. Excellent. I'm walking away. Okay. How are we doing?
I got 6. Good. Yeah, I got 1.5 too. Because it has 1 square and then it has a half of a square.
So then, yeah.
So I did what I did last time.
When I got 1.5 too. I got 1.5 miles apart.
Oh, I like how you put your units on there. Good.
Wait, how is that 1.5?
Because there's half of one.
Every for these, you have a whole, one full and then a half of one. Miles apart.
Okay, so about a minute and a half. I think most of you have your final answers, and you need to be putting them on your sheet. Please. How are we doing with these? Are these working? Thank you. So how did you do this? Right? So you built 5 by 4, right? And then what? Then you count them. Okay.
Or you could just multiply 5.
So yeah, just like the arrays that we did in 5th grade, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 20. Okay. And then how are you going to split those? Okay, now that's division. You did multiplication. So what do you have here? So 3 of the pieces, right? Ah, okay. Good. Good. Now I get it. Am I hearing accountable talk over here?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, so do you have a final answer?
Sort of. We're like right on the edge.
On the edge.
If you do this, then the answer is 2, but the answer is 3.
Okay, so there's 3.
You're right.
2/3 left. So this is 2/3, and this is another 2/3.
So what is the
But
final answer?
that's not how you do it, Emily.
For division? For division, look. How many pieces do you have? That's what division is asking.
It's
how many pieces?
Yeah, so there'd be 6.
There's 2 in each, so
Exactly, so 2 would go on the bottom, right? In each. Because there's 2/3 in each recipe. So there's 2/3 here, and 2/3 here, and 2/3 here.
I kind of disagree.
and how does that equal 3?
Because there's 3 sections.
Okay.
Okay.
There's 3 sections.
So come up with a final answer. Remember, we're not that worried if it's right or wrong at this point because we're doing the process, okay? So I understand what both of you are saying, and I know it's frustrating, but just try and get it down to a final answer. Maybe do a majority rules on this one, okay?
Okay, well, I have.
Who agrees? All right, guys. Who agrees with you guys?
Okay, so since there's 6
Because I'm going to be pulling these in like 10 seconds.
There's 6 total. No, then we
All right.
majority.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so look at. Okay, so on this one,
Just put them in the middle.
Split it into 2.
Thanks.
Then each of them were 3, and the answer was 3.
Excuse me. I just coughed. Could you guys please hold up your final answers? Not the questions. Okay. Thank you. Help me out here. Okay, and team captains, pass the questions to the next group.
Emily, you have to pass the question.
I guess I'll just do it because she's in here.
Do I have them all? And go ahead and get started.
Money. That would be a
You guys were past that.
You could say,
We did not answer this I'm trying to get it going. Read.
You have you have 3/4 cups of salsa for making burritos. Each burrito requires 1/8 cup of salsa.
Okay, and this is
how
one
many
of those questions where
burritos
I've asked
can
the
you
other
make?
groups and I want to see what you guys think.
That's division.
Read the question out loud.
No.
Because that's what like the last one was like.
Just the question part.
You would multiply. Yeah, you probably divide.
Wait, it doesn't.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
So wasn't it 3/4 divided by 1/8?
So you're hoping that we're going to have whole loaves of bread from this bakery or wherever we are, and
Yeah, it's 3/4 divided by 1/8.
Yeah.
from that, right?
Okay, so you would do 1
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
square divided into 4.
Wait, so what do we do? It's division square.
And then color 1, 3, and 2.
3/4 divided by 8.
So it would be 3/4.
Yeah, so it'd be 1.5.
I got 4.
Because remember, each of these are halves, and if you add, that's 1. Yeah, that's
This
2.
is 1 and 1/2. So it'd be 1.5.
I think it'd be 3/4 mile apart each time. Because it wouldn't make sense if every 4 miles you place a marker. I think that's what Jackson.
Well, and that's a good point. So going back to the question, if your answer is 4 and you're to place the marker every 4 miles, how many markers are you going to have?
You're gonna have
Just one marker out there. And it's almost at the end, right? So is that going to help the hikers along the trail? No, they could already be lost by mile 4. Who knows?
there's like one whole one.
Yeah, I got 1.5 too. That's what I meant to say.
Because when we're talking about fractions, we're talking about what? What are we talking about when we're talking about fractions, you guys?
About separating.
Pieces, right? We're separating it out. Okay, good. So what is in each separate piece? So you have this right, but what's in this section? How many?
A whole one.
1.5, right? So you're talking about each section, not the whole thing.
1.5. That's what I got.
Because look, watch this.
1.5 apart.
What if this were the trail? Where would you place the markers?
Right there.
Okay, so I put one here,
It's 4.5.
one here, one here, and one here, right? So how far is it from here to here?
1.5 miles.
Mile and a half, right? So it's asking how far apart would you put them? 1.5 miles apart. Not how many markers are there. That's what you're answering,
Okay.
right?
And then you divide it into fifths. Because of the 5 is a denominator. Because of the 1/5. And there is 1/5. And there will be 3 things in my board. And when you count up all of it, there ends up being 20 pieces. And you get to put 3 20ths. And then when you check it with the algorithm, it's right.
See, Scott, you can be a teacher.
Yeah. I usually can't handle the pressure because people ask me too many questions.
That's why I'm teasing you right now.
I don't like explaining things.
You don't like explaining things? Well, you did a nice job this time. Thank you. Yay.
Now it's time for division and
Okay, so this is a multiplication problem?
Yeah.
And you're already doing it? Okay. About 2 minutes.
We have 2 more division.
2-minute warning. How are we doing over here?
Good. In a way.
In a way? Good in a way. What ways are you doing well?
We're not. Well, we thought it was division, and we thought it was 32, but we did the algorithm to check it, we got 6.
Okay.
So we're trying it with multiplication now just to see.
Let me ask you a question. Why would 6 be wrong? Why are you thinking 6 is the wrong answer?
We got 32.
Oh, you're checking.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
we got 32.
Okay. So,
But
did you guys already had the loaf of bread question? Loaves of bread. Okay, so we're getting whole loaves of bread, right? Well, this question, how many burritos can you make? We don't want a piece of a burrito, right? We don't want a portion of it. We want whole burritos, okay? So, like from Super Burrito, right?
that's pretty.
Those are good. So, if you're getting an answer that's a whole number, do you think you're possibly doing the correct model?
No.
You don't want whole numbers.
Oh no, yeah, you do. You do.
Okay, so if you're getting a fraction, you're possibly on the wrong trail, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so think of it that way. Look at the question.
We did it wrong on division, but it's still division.
Yeah.
For some reason, I understood that. Wait, how are we doing?
436. 4 divided by 32 is 8. Holy macaronis.
Okay, about 30 seconds, and I'm going to collect these.
Okay, we don't have. So just draw the model and write equals 6.
No, but who cares?
Division. I haven't drawn it yet.
Don't forget to use
Hey, hold them up.
Also, we should go with this one. We could pick different ones. Same answer.
Well, I'm not going to ask every single person, so just find a couple comments that you guys might want to share.
So you should draw with the blue, and most of the other ones all say the same thing. So
I say we should go with this one. It says exactly both.
same answer.
Okay, 1. Thank you.
Blue, and we all got the same.
3. Okay, perfect. Let's see. If you are a number 4 in your group, take the stickies from your group that you want to share. And let's actually start right here with the group in the middle. What was your question and what kind of comments were there?
Okay, so
Go ahead and stand up, please.
our question was: you have 3/4 cup of salsa for making burritos. Each burrito requires 1/8 cup of salsa. How many burritos can you make?
So it was the burrito question, right? The burrito question. So what were some of the comments that were made about some of the answers?
Okay, so one of them, which was our group's, was totally wrong. He got 25 burritos, and everybody said that confuses me and doesn't make sense to ours.
So does it make sense to be able to make 25 burritos with that amount of salsa? Okay, so that's one of those things where we have to go back to the math practices and we have to think, does this make sense? Okay, so does this make any sense to us? 25 burritos, possibly not. Thank you for sharing one of them. Okay, this group up here, who's number 4? Seth, go ahead and stand up. What's something that you had?
We have
Let's just shorten the question. So you guys had the exercising question, Alex. Okay. So what's something that you guys saw on your comments?
Can I help him out?
If he wants help, you absolutely
Can I
will.
help you out?
Yeah.
All right. So on this one, it's I don't know who did it, but they said Wait, where's that sticky note at? Oh, it's right here. They said 3/20ths up. They got 3/20ths of an hour, but they said it also equals 9 minutes, and then 3/20ths. And then somebody said on their sticky note, 3/20ths doesn't equal 9. But what Emily said makes sure it checked it and made sure it didn't equal 9.
Okay, so Emily, help me. How did you figure that out?
I reduced it by multiplying 20 by 3.
Did you reduce or did you just find an equivalent fraction?
Find an equivalent fraction.
Okay. So what's going to go down here, over
60.
here? 60. Why?
Because you multiply 20 times 3, and 60 is like an hour in
Okay.
minutes.
Okay. And then what do I have to do with my numerator?
You have to multiply by 3,
And so that is
9 minutes.
9. So 9 minutes. And Macy, actually back there, was the one who figured that out the first time, right?
Logan.
I'm sorry, it was Logan and Macy together. Good job, you guys. Okay. But I like how, Emily, I like how you described that it's an equivalent fraction. And you could find that. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Mason. That group, what is something you found?
Okay, we had the hiking trail question.
Okay.
Everybody said pretty much the same thing, like everybody did the same thing. We just like the way somebody worded this one. Same problem solving ways.
Same problem solving. Wait, okay, good.
We just like the way they worded it.
Like we all solved it the
Thank
exact
you.
same way.
Yeah. So
Everybody solved it the
So
exact same way.
so
That's
no
interesting.
problems at all.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Group in the back.
Okay, ours was the banana bread loaf one for the recipe, and everyone sort of got the same answer and similar problem-solving ones. And one of them said, "I love how you guys shared your work with everybody."
Oh, I like that. Good comment. Okay. Good. And I haven't done this group yet, right?
No.
I lost track. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we had like the eating insects with like bats.
Uh-huh.
So like someone like did the right thing, but they shaded in like half of it with blue. But I think they did it wrong because it would be like it would be a half instead of 3/8.
Okay.
So they did it wrong. But then everyone else just said this. You got the same answer and stuff.
Oh, okay. So you looked at it pretty closely and you saw that there was one different answer as far as the model went, right? How many of you learned the division of fractions algorithm last year? And what's the thing your teacher probably said?
Skip, flip,
Skip, flip, and multiply. And yeah, that's right, right? That is the quick and easy way to get this done.
That's how we checked our answers.
And okay, so you could check it with the algorithm. Show me on your hand 1 being super easy and 5 being super hard. How does it feel to have to create a model with this? See lots of 4s, some 3s, 2, okay? Okay, so for me, when I first started looking at this, it was almost a 5 for me because I was skip, flip, and multiply 100 years ago when I learned this algorithm, right? But why do you think it's important for us to have to create models? Who can share their thoughts with that? Grace?
So that we like understand what we're saying, not just like this is how it is, because in real life you're gonna need to like know how to like what you're even talking about. Like they're not just gonna say, here's the problem.
Right, I've told you guys I've never walked into a grocery store and been handed a worksheet of math problems that I had to solve, right? I actually had to solve real life problems as I went through the store.
Like, what would be a better deal if I got this 6 can of small Cokes or the 2-liter Coke?
Right, so I have to solve problems every single day in a real life situation. And I may not remember the algorithm as I go through, but could I maybe remember how to draw it out? Now I know that the one with the mile marker question, I was drawing an actual trail, wasn't I? For some of you. I have to do that. I have to actually think of my bottle of oil and my 2/3 cup and pouring it. And I'm dividing that bottle of oil into 2/3 each time. Okay, so I draw pictures all the time. Yes?
You also need to know because, like, you also need to know about the models because if you have harder questions, you wouldn't really know how to do it.
Right? You can take that model and apply it to more difficult questions later. I'm not always going to have these nice numbers that kind of help each other out, right? Good. Anything else?